Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? And so I'd really love for you to kind of just high level hit us, talk about neuroplasticity, talk about triggers, talk about emotional scars, but most importantly, talk about rewiring your brain.
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. It's there's so many different mentors that I follow, like Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden and a few others that really talk about this neuroplasticity and the brain. And it was all new to me. I think it was like an aha moment for me when it was taught to me, like how you have this limbic system, which is the fight, flight, and freeze mechanism, and how you have your prefrontal cortex and how they're attached, and basically how the limbic system is your emotional side where you feel all these emotions, but your prefrontal cortex is the logical, rational side. And that we're the only species that has this neocortex that really has the ability to regulate, self-regulate our emotions. However, we've developed a lot of habits, right? Over the years, and these things that I had mentioned when we first started the conversation, such as beliefs, such as I'm not good enough, what's wrong with me, I did something wrong, can be stored in our subconscious, right? We have a subconscious mind and we have a conscious mind. And basically the beliefs that we hold with these with neuroplasticity and the that we have these basically a dendrite and a axon that has like these little electrical signals that fire in between these things that create a thought. So for instance, like if you have a thought that, or if you have this belief that I'm not good enough, and then you have this thought, the belief that I'm not good enough, and then the thought like, oh, I applied for this job and they don't want me, that I'm just a bad person. That's just reinforced, right? That's just that neuro the you know what I mean? It just keeps firing the synapse there. So what you need to do is to create a new neural pathway. And the only way to really do that is with deliberate practice, right? And the best way that I could kind of give you an example of this is if you work at your job and you have to create a password to log into Windows at your job, every 90 days or 30 days or whatever the security policy is, they basically tell you to change your password, right? So you go into work one day and you change your password, you get up, you go get a cup of coffee, come back, what do? You start typing in the old password again, right? And then you realize, whoa, I gotta basically type in the new password. Well, here I'll just give you an example. Like this is the neural pathway that you created for that old password, and this is the new neural pathway that you created for the new password. With deliberate practice, each day that you come in and type the new password, the synapse there that between the axon and the dendrite starts to get starts to close more, and the old one starts to separate. And basically, that's how a new thought, a new habit is basically created. So it's deliberate practice, and we're like 60% habits. So if you want to kind of like change something in your life, you have to just kind of do repetition, repetition, repetition to change it, to build up that new neural pathway. And that takes time, but it could take a short time. It depends on, how big of an experience it is and how impactful it is. Some people change right away, but over time, like when I had to learn to love myself, and I gave you that example of when I created the 9 ingredients of love, how I read them morning and night, it took probably like 5 months before I was able to actually move that from my head to my heart. So, real, I hope that I gave a good example of how that happens, where you build a new habit.